So let's talk about something most business owners will never admit. And it took me a while to admit this as well. You are not stuck because you don't know enough. You are stuck because you are thinking too much and executing too little. Overthinking feels productive. It feels responsible. It feels strategic. And I am here to tell you, as a fellow overthinker, it is not. Overthinking is usually disguised fear. Fear of choosing wrong, being seen, selling. A lot of people have that fear. Committing. And today I'm going to show you exactly how I use ChatGPT to interrupt that spiral of overthinking that I still suffer from and move into execution without causing a bunch of chaos. So, we're not doing a whole bunch of advice. I'm going to give you a system. Okay? Let's get started. Welcome to All Gems, No Crumbs. I'm Ikenisha, the AI business queen, and I help entrepreneurs turn strategy into systems, systems into sales, and effort into revenue. Inside this podcast, I'm breaking down the frameworks, automations, and decision-making strategies I actually use to grow my business, sell consistently, and build leverage without hustling or overcomplicating anything. If you're ready to build with intention and execute at a higher level, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Now, let's really have a conversation. Overthinking is not about intelligence. It's about lack of clarity, lack of constraints, lack of decision deadlines. When there are too many options, your brain is going to stall, is going to stop. And when the brain does that, your revenue does the same thing. And most people try to fix overthinking with, again, as an overthinker, I already know, okay? So don't think I'm coming down on you. I am a fellow overthinker who is working through it. So again, most people try to fix overthinking with more research, more content, more courses, more planning, rebranding, and all of that really just makes it worse. You don't need more information. You need a structure for your decisions. And this is something that ChatGPT is really good at, but you have to know how to use it correctly. And I, of course, am going to tell you how I do it. Not saying my way is 100% correct, but it has been working for me. And so now I am sharing it with you. So ChatGPT is excellent at narrowing your options, creating boundaries, forcing you to prioritize, separating emotion from strategy. But again, you have to know how to prompt it correctly. So if you say to ChatGPT, what should I do next after you tell it something or whatever, you're going to get generic advice. You're going to get basic advice. Instead, I would recommend you say, here are 5 things that I could do. And then you tell it, which one produces revenue fastest based on my current offers and capacity. Now, I have said this before. The prompts that I give you, if you have not been using your ChatGPT a lot where it knows a lot about you and or you have not trained it, especially the way that I teach you to train it, you're going to have to do even more prompting. So if you've already trained it and it knows you, then this prompt will work for you because it already knows your current offers and your capacity. If it does not, you're going to have to prompt it more in order for it to know all of that. So when you ask it that particular question, you're thinking more like a CEO and not someone who is just using ChatGPT to get by. So the first thing I want you all to do, I'm going to give you a first execution prompt. Let's call it that. So you're going to open ChatGPT and you're going to type this. This is only for those of you who are overthinking or you have hit a wall. This happens to me a lot. So you're going to open it, you're going to say, I am overthinking these three options. Then you're going to tell it the three options, and then you're going to say, my goal is revenue and clarity. Ask me questions that will help me eliminate two of them and commit to one. Then tell me which one to execute this week and why. That's it. Now, if you notice, this particular prompt I gave you, it did three very important things. First, it forces prioritization. Then it eliminates distraction and it creates commitment. And most people stall or get stuck because they won't eliminate. And that's something that I learned the hard way. And someone who is like my new-ish mentor, and I said this, I think, last episode, she taught me that just because I can doesn't mean I should. And that is what led me to basically do a huge overhaul of everything that I offered on my website, like masterclass wise and class wise or whatever you want to call it. Because just because I am pretty good at Canva did not mean I need to have Canva classes all over my website. Now, you can find my Canva classes inside of my AI marketing lab. So if you want to find those, it's there. And then the small business center here in my hometown at the community college, well, both of them, there are two of them, with like a 20-minute radius of my house. And they both get me to teach Canva to small business owners. Now, that is fine. However, Canva is, that's I'm great at it, good at it. But my thing is AI, marketing, and sales. That's just my thing. So that's what my focus is, and that's what my focus tends to be on my website now. So I had to go through, and it's a lot of stuff that I used to have. If you've been following me for a while, then you already know I used to have a lot of different master classes. But now I learned how to eliminate. And once you eliminate, what I've noticed is that it creates momentum because execution requires subtraction. You can't execute everything. And I keep telling myself that even though I am great at a lot of things, there is still 1 to 3 things that I am superb at. Like I am just a genius at. And I just told you those things. AI, marketing, and sales. It's just my thing. You also cannot grow everything. So this is something else that I decided to eliminate, but this more so came from, again, I've said this before, from my weekly CEO meetings with God. And I eliminated Instagram right now. Even though I teach social media marketing to small business owners, he told me, God, to concentrate on Pinterest and YouTube/my podcast. So I am being obedient and I am eliminating because where he is leading me and what I'm doing right now, my foundation is going to be Pinterest and YouTube. Instagram will just be a cherry. And in between that is my Facebook group. So I cannot grow my Instagram page right now, which is fine. Because if you've been listening to my 2 now Pinterest episodes, you will know that Pinterest is going well for me currently, not with sales yet, but the rate that it is going and increasing literally every day is coming. I also know that you cannot fix everything. You got to figure out what is the priority, and that is what you grow and fix and execute. Because overthinking is usually you trying to keep every single door open. And money actually comes from closing doors, not opening more. ChatGPT will become powerful when you use it to eliminate the noise, simplify your focus, and then clarify the next move. So the second prompt I want to give you is going to help you turn confusion into a 7-day plan. So like use this. I use this basically when my brain is loud. Like I have a ton of thoughts, a ton of ideas literally every day, especially when I'm driving. It seems like when I'm driving, that's when I get like the most ideas and the best ideas and all of these things. And I'm just like, no, chill out, chill out. So I will go into ChatGPT and I will tell it something close to the following. Based on my current goals, create a simple 7-day execution plan. Limit it to 3 actions per day. Prioritize revenue or growth, not busy work. Notice what that prompt did. It simplified. Remember, I said create a simple 7-day plan. It limit, and I said limit it to 3 actions. So it gave limits, or it's going to give me limits. And then last, it prioritizes. The last thing I said was prioritize revenue or growth. Most people, their plans are overwhelming because they do not constrain the scope of what they're doing. Clarity is not about doing more. That's what a lot of people think. You're doing more because you're clear. No, clarity is about knowing what not to do. Same thing with having discernment. Discernment is not knowing what's right. It's knowing what not to do, what to say no to. And this is personally how I am now able to move faster. Not because I don't have doubt. Like that happens a lot with me. And not because I don't rethink or overthink. I still do. However, I don't let the thinking turn into paralysis rather. When I feel myself spiraling, I don't open Instagram. I don't do anything of the sort. I will open ChatGPT and I will tell it, help me separate what matters right now from what doesn't. This is what's going on in my mind. And then I will follow the plan that ChatGPT will help me strategically create. Execution builds confidence. I want you all to remember that. And then once you get that confidence, that is going to build your clarity. And then, of course, I've told you all before, clarity builds your income. But again, clarity is about knowing what not to do. You need to eliminate so that way it can create momentum. So I'm going to tell you something gently but clearly. Sometimes overthinking is avoidance. Been there, done that, didn't want to admit it, but it is. It is also a form of procrastination. Same thing with perfection, being a perfectionist. I've told you all that before as well. You're not confused. You're just uncomfortable. And that's a hard thing to realize. But discomfort is really the doorway to growth. And ChatGPT cannot execute for you. It can only clarify for you, but the action is still yours. You have to be able to not only create the plan, but you have to execute it. You got to take the actions and don't just do it once or twice. You have to be consistent. You have to build a habit. And that was the point that I was making in my very last Pinterest episode, was that I built a habit and I was fine with not creating a sale in those past 30 days because I needed to consistently get used to the habit of Pinterest. And now I am. So I'm going to go back to that prompt that I said earlier. I want you all to do this. And you all already know, same thing I always say anytime I give you all a prompt that includes ChatGPT asking you questions. You have to do this slowly, intentionally, and of course, be honest. No one is judging you. ChatGPT doesn't care. Okay? So here's that prompt again. You're going to open ChatGPT, new chat, and you're going to say, I am stuck between multiple priorities or however many things. My goal is revenue and momentum, or you can say revenue and clarity. Ask me 5 questions that will force me to choose one focus for the next 7 days. Then build a simple execution plan. Use that one. I just reworded it just so you can have a different wording. Use that one or the other one that I said earlier. Okay. And once you do all of this and once you answer honestly and everything that I said, you are then going to execute without renegotiating with yourself. Don't talk yourself out of things. I have done that so many times. And don't talk yourself out of taking immediate action. You need to do it then, not next month, not when you feel like you're ready. There's no better time to start than now. And I know that sounds so cliche, but it's so true. Start it this week. I want you all to do that. Figure out what you are stuck on and just spill it all into ChatGPT and tell it to ask you questions. You all know I am a firm believer in getting ChatGPT to interview you and ask you questions because it will pull things out of you that you did not know you needed to say, but it knew that it needed it from you. So I'm talking to myself with this too. You don't need another idea. You need commitment to the right idea. Overthinking feels safe because execution normally feels risky. But being an entrepreneur and a business owner, you have to be a risky person. That's just how it goes. And execution pays. It is what it is. And when you learn to use ChatGPT to structure your decisions, instead of feeding your doubt, you stop spinning and you start building. And that's the shift that you all need, well, we all need, from entrepreneur to CEO. And when you're ready to build a life and have AI or ChatGPT really drastically change your life, I highly recommend grabbing my 5-year focus formula. I am getting so much great feedback from it, as well as my prompt power course. By the way, I've had a few people purchase that too recently that have given me great feedback on it as well and telling me how much they've learned. So those are the two things that I recommend right now, but especially my 5-year focus formula, because we're talking about getting ChatGPT to work for you and helping you. And the aha moments you're going to get when you grab this, I'm telling you, it's astronomical. Like you're literally going to be mind blown when you take this formula or you start using the formula rather. So this episode was kind of short. It was shorter than my usual, but I really wanted to come on and let you all know how you can use ChatGPT in order to eliminate overthinking. Because again, as someone who overthinks, being able to reframe it and structure it and organize my chaotic thoughts in my mind with ChatGPT has been amazing. So you're going to use ChatGPT this week again to stop overthinking and start executing, okay? All right, so the next episode, I am almost positive, I want to talk about how I use ChatGPT to create a weekly sales plan in under 30 minutes. That's what I think I'm going to talk about. If I don't, I'm so sorry. Don't hold me to it, but I'm going to talk about it sometime soon, okay? All right, y'all. So catch me next week with another gem of advice because I'm not going to leave no crumbs.